There is no such thing as an expert opinion on mental health. Yes, there could be someone who studied mental health and understands it better, but there is no better understanding than a person who lives with mental health.
I had to use medication for 6 months until I was stable again. Because during that time, the mental instability and the mental trauma of the experience was of such a nature that for many mornings I couldn't even tie my shoelaces. For most of that December holidays, I spent my time in a dark room where I didn't want to see people. And that is one example of how traumatic experiences can influence your mental stability or instability. With my father, I don't know what his reasons were. Only later years and years afterwards, we realized that he also had traumatic childhood experiences. But we also realized and found out that he has a number of family members who have mental disorders. Not necessarily Alzheimer's, but other mental disorders. So in years gone by, there were no labels or names for these difficulties that people experience. And it would just generally be a matter of snap out of it. He's just a difficult person. I can't work with this person, I can't deal with this person, and no assistance or support was sought. And these people went through life with a label of just being difficult. Today, there is so much more known about these disorders, so much more assistance, so much more help. But there's still a stigma. And normally, generally speaking, in modern day society even, if you have a mental instability, people say you're mad. And that is so uncalled for and so insensitive. There are many people, even people who are well known in the world, in South Africa, who have mental instabilities. And they are creative, good, hardworking, contributing people in society. And they just have great difficulty containing these instabilities. A person who comes to mind is Mrs. Doubtfire, I forget his name, Robin something. And this man actually took his life. He committed suicide as a result of depression. And not many people know about it or knew about it. So the old age thing of just snap out of it shouldn't be an issue any longer, but unfortunately it is. The stigma of being with someone, of being someone with mental instability, is still rife in society. And people with mental instabilities are alienated and they ostracized and they kept separate from being in groups of people because they just seem to be difficult. They just seem to be different. And it's just unfortunately just a brain that is networked in a different way. So mental instability is something that admittedly it is not an easy thing to live with. It is sometimes even more difficult and even worse than physical difficulties and health issues like cancer and heart conditions, where you can see the person is sick physically. But mental instabilities is just an illness like any other physical condition. And people should realize that and deal with it in the same way that you would show compassion and care for someone with a heart condition, even though it is 10 times worse having a mental instability.
Okay. My name is Carol Flores, and what is mental health or illness. Volgens my is 'n mens mental illness of health. It has to do with how you think, how you operate, how you interact mentally, emotionally with people, with your family, with your friends, at school, at home, wherever you go. So sometimes I grew up where people never talked about it. En as mense daaroor gepraat het, dan was dit nie, daai een is mal nie aandag hier aan hom nie. And so we went through our journey in life that you must stand your ground no matter how you feel and no matter what you go through emotionally and mentally, and because there was never someone who would listen to you that way. And you fought your life, through life, no matter your sad days, your happy days, your what days. Yes, we could see some people, toe ons groot geraak het, jy kon sien baie mense is regtig waar there's something wrong. Daar is iets verkeerd. Maar dit was onder die mat gesmeer. En as jy mental was, then they would send you away. And no one would say where the person is or what went wrong or what is wrong with the person. And then all of a sudden the person will just appear again in society. And you have your, ek dink in almal het 'n mental illness. It is just how some people, how you cope with it and how you handle it and how you go through life with it. But there's places for people to go, and there's family relationship en verhoudings en om mekaar te help en te ondersteun. En ja, ons het almal ons breakdowns in die lewe, and some people are there for one another. Others don't have a stable family and stable or even the medical aid to pay for them to go to these places. Ag, en government so goed is weekie. So ja, op daaglikse basis by my skool het ek te doen met kinders wat deur early childhood depression gaan, maar hulle ouers kan nie bekostig om vir hulle na 'n sielkundige toe te stuur, en die skoolsielkundiges is net nooit beskikbaar nie. Dit vat lank, partykeer is die kinders al weg van die skool af voor 'n sielkundige hom of haar kan sien. So die situasie is maar moeilik, veral nou in hierdie demokrasie waarin ons is dit eintlik baie hartseer dat ons hier onmiddellik gehelp kan word, die veral staatsinstellings, waar ons die kinders kan help en waar ons die groot mense kan help. And yes, but we must have people, everybody needs someone who's there for the person or the child or whoever it is to help the child to go through the emotions and the person and to be there. And yeah, life is tough.
I'm Mavis Flores. My age is 74. And I'm trying to cope with issues that's putting myself in a very unstable mode. Like for instance, before the COVID, it was my husband Kenny. Wasn't well at all. And now with this illness, his mental condition, he's in a home. Being married 50 years, a blessed marriage, most blessed until he got sick and he had to go to an institution. Sad for our family, sad for our immediate family, my grandchildren and my 2 sons, 2 daughters-in-laws. For a Flores family, it wasn't a walk in a park. But I have to say it took me about 3 months to settle in with the knowledge that he's not here anymore. But in my mind, I still believe in it, that we're not divorced, we're not separated. God has other plans with us, and he is my husband, longing to see him. But unfortunately with the COVID, it's going in for 4 months, I'm missing him a lot. Being alone at times, catching up with the loneliness. I occupy my mind with music. Beautiful music. Cherish the memories of 50 years, like the golden oldies. My age, 74, I must mention the golden oldies. It's for me therapy, listening to all the music, like classical, my favorite, and the normal general hymns of the old hymns. And further, being at times, there is intervals that I go into just in a mode of finding myself in a dark hole. Then I immediately light my candles, praying, asking God to hold me together. And what I've tried, and I've noticed that it works, is that I've got a program every morning when I wake up. I know what to do to keep myself sane.
Looking after mental health can preserve a person's ability to enjoy life. Doing this involves reaching a balance between life activities, responsibilities, and efforts to achieve psychological resilience. Conditions such as stress, depression, and anxiety can affect all mental health and disrupt a person's routine.